Hello, guys, welcome once more to Hollywood Recapped. Today I'm going to explain to you the movie named Bajrangi Bhaijaan. Spoilers ahead. Watch out and take care. In the mountains of Sultanpur, Kashmir, Pakistan lives a 6-year-old mute girl named Shahida. One afternoon, she is playing on a hill when she by chance falls off it. When she doesn't return home by the end of the day, the villagers arrange a search party. After hours of searching, they discover the little girl on a branch protruding from the hill. She had been stuck on it for the whole day, however couldn't call for help because of her disability. The following morning, her mother and father and neighbors talk about what should be carried out to help her. An older man suggests they take her to the shrine of Sufi Saint Nizamuddin Auliya in New Delhi, India. The spiritual family believes that a visit to the holy shrine will deliver peace and happiness and most importantly, restore Shahida's speech. Shahida's father used to be in the Pakistani army and has fought in opposition to the Indian army. He is certain that he won't be provided with a visa to India. Hence, her mom Razia takes it upon herself to tour far from the village for the first time. The trip goes as deliberate for the most part. The two attain the shrine, pay offerings and get on a train back to their home country. On the return journey, the train stops for repairs at night. When absolutely everyone is asleep, Shahida notices a lamb caught in a pit right outside the train. She doesn't think a lot before going outside to assist the animal. However, the train restarts before she can return to her mother. The little girl runs in the direction of it, however, is finally left behind. In a desperate try to go the same way that her mom did, she boards a freight train. But to her dismay, it goes reverse path and stops in Kurukshetra, India. Razia notices her daughter is missing and stops the train. Policemen are appointed to look for the girl around the track where she was lost. However, they can't locate her for the reason that Shahida has already reached a distinctive place. Razia meets her husband who is concerned to demise about his daughter. They cannot get an instant visa again to India, a whole lot to their dismay. The dad and mom have no other way but to pray that their daughter is safe. Meanwhile, Shahida is now lost in a different country with no way to communicate. In a religious celebration, she sees a stranger eating at a street-side restaurant. The stranger is the kind-hearted Pawan Kumar Chaturvedi who invites her to have a meal with him. After a few minutes of attempting to get her to talk, he realizes she is mute and begins calling her Money. A starving Money finishes the meals and follows Pawan around. Assuming that she was separated from her mother and father at some point of the festival, he asks her to remain in the front of a temple. Pawan is a devoted Hindu Brahmin and an ardent devotee of Hanuman. He believes that Hanuman will take Money home if she stays in the front of his temple. When Money still doesn't give up following him, he brings her to the police station. But because she cannot tell them any details about her parents, the police can only wait for any person to file a missing complaint. Until her dad and mom are found, Money desires a place to stay, hence, Pawan takes her in. On his way to his home in Delhi, he tells Money to call him Mama if she ever talks in the future. He additionally begins naming different Indian cities, asking her to nod if she is aware of what city her parents are in. All the passengers on the bus assist him, however none of them name cities outside of India. As they talk, Pawan tells all people how he came to Delhi for work. The flashback shows the time he was in high school. He was an average pupil who could never pass the final examination. All his buddies cheated and went on with their lives, however Pawan refused to cheat or lie, being a real devotee of Lord Hanuman. Eventually, he passed on his 11th strive and came to Delhi to look for work. He stayed with his father's friend, Pandi, a strict Hindu Brahmin who refused to let the followers of any different faith enter his house. Pandi's daughter Rasika provided Pawan a job at the school. She fell in love with his innocent persona. But being the strict father he is, Pandi asked Pawan to build his very own house before marrying his daughter. Even considering that then, Pawan and Rasika have been working hard to accumulate money. The two are sure to get married someday next year. Everyone on the bus is impressed by his story. He and Money reach his home, where Rasika receives them in the doorway. She is happy that Pawan is assisting a little girl in need, however Pandi doesn't feel the same way. He is concerned about the possibility that Money belongs to a different religion. Pawan rationalizes that she is Hindu Brahmin due to the fact of her fair skin color and persuades Pandi to let her remain for a month. Money cries each day in the memory of her parents, even though Pawan and Rasika deal with her like their very own daughter. Since the whole family is vegetarian and Money is accustomed to eating meat with each meal, she rarely ever finishes her food. One day, Pawan and Rasika locate her in a Muslim neighbor's home eating home-cooked chicken. Pawan brings her to a restaurant that night and lets her eat anything she likes, even though eating meat is against his religion. Money is very fond of the glittery bangles they sell on the street side. One day while taking walks down a market, she innocently picks up a pack of bangles before being stopped by the vendor. Pawan makes her return it and takes her to the temple to make an apology to God for stealing. As he teaches her to join her hands, Money sneaks into a mosque nearby. Alwyn is hesitant to observe her inside, however he does it anyway. To his utter surprise, he sees her studying the Quran in the front of a shrine. For a few minutes, he feels like she betrayed him because he would have never befriended a Muslim. But Rasika makes him understand that she is a human earlier than being Muslim. She hates that her father discriminates in opposition to people because of their faith and wishes Pawan to be different. Pawan is aware and runs into the mosque to get money, however by now, she has already left. As he nervously looks for her, she runs to him and hugs him tightly. At that moment, he accepts her entirely, overcoming his irrational fear of going against his religion. That night is a cricket match against Pakistan and India. The whole family watches it on TV, cheering for India, besides Mani who cheers when Pakistan scores. When the Pakistani team wins the game, she dances and kisses their flag through TV. Pawan approaches her and asks her if she is from Pakistan. After weeks of shaking her head to each Indian city, Mani in the end nods yes. Pandey is furious. Being a Muslim was terrible enough, however, because the girl is from Pakistan, he can no longer permit her to remain at their home. Alwyn guarantees to hand her to the Pakistani embassy the subsequent day. However, the embassy employee can't permit her a visa except a passport. In Mani's case, they don't even know her actual name, so a visa allotment is impossible. Moreover, a rise-up takes place in the front of the embassy that closes all visa processing for a month. As the final resort, Pawan takes her to a tour agent at Pandey's suggestion. The agent guarantees to take the little girl to the other side of the border and asks for 1 lakh rupees. Alwyn and Rakisa provide up the cash they had accumulated for their house to assist Mani. The subsequent day, Pawan reluctantly brings Mani to the tour agent's office and leaves after a tearful farewell. On his way home, he notices a street vendor selling glittery bangles. He remembers that Mani favored them and buys one for her. However, on returning to the tour agent's office, he finds out that he has been cheated. The agent has taken the little girl to a brothel and is about to sell her into prostitution. The otherwise calm and composed Pawan loses his mood at the sight of the agent counting money that he made from Mani. He throws the man out of the window and brings Mani home again. Pawan has made the choice to convey Mani home himself. Although he has no connections or ideas about Pakistani villages, he packs his baggage and makes his way to the border. A few miles away from it, they meet a secret agent named Ali, who illegally transports people to the different side through a tunnel. After listening to Mani's story, he consents to take them for free. When they reach Pakistan's side of the border, Ali runs away, however being a Lord Hanuman's devotee, Pawan refuses to go except asking the guards for permission. When the officers discover him, they beat him up as Mani watches and cries. Pawan pretends to giggle, even while being beaten, so the little girl wouldn't be afraid. After finding out the purpose for his journey, the head soldier asks him to do anything he wishes in the following 10 minutes before they return for the next round. Pawan decides to wait for them due to the fact they have still not authorized him. Although the idea is idiotic and he gets beaten up again, he is finally allowed to go, with permission from the soldiers. In the following scene, he and Mani are in a restaurant. Mani sees a cop's handcuffs and steals it, assuming that it is a bracelet. The cop finds out and throws Pawan in jail, labeling him as an Indian spy because of the lack of a passport. Then, we are brought to a struggling journalist Chan Nawab. He finds out about the alleged spy and runs to the police station to interview him. He receives a few indistinct answers from Pawan and informs the news company that doesn't take him seriously. Inside the police station, a cop interrogates Pawan, however refuses to agree with anything he has to say. Suddenly, Mani sees a photo on a table calendar and recognizes it as her village. Pawan is extremely joyful until the policeman forcefully makes Mani open her mouth. Pawan gets angry and assaults the man, inviting more hassle for himself. He manages to defeat the officers and run away from the police. Nawab sees him escaping and follows him behind. They board the bus where Pawan shows the conductor their destination and additionally tells him Mani's story. After discovering out he is really a true person, Nawab and the rest of the travelers determine to help him. They cover him and Mani on the top of the bus when the police come searching for them. At night, Nawab, Pawan, and Mani stayed at a mosque. A religious student named Azad also helps them and hides them from the policemen looking the whole town for the alleged spy. One of Azad's students sees Switzerland written on the photo that Mani thought was her village. The team is back to square one. After that, Azad changes out of Pawan and Nawab in a burqa and manages to send them outside the town except the police noticing. Pawan, who was not oblivious to Islam a few weeks ago, feels unusual in their normal clothing. He apologizes to his god but is prepared to do anything for money. For the next few days, Pawan and Nawab take Mani to numerous different places, asking people if they recognize her. Nawab documents their trip and the entirety about Mani and Pawan's relationship. He tries selling the documentary to news channels, however they refuse to air it, claiming that it is boring. They have to discover any other way to spread the news so the people on the internet can help. One day, they go to a well-known mosque where they find policemen searching for them. Nawab realizes that his cameraman buddy is being used by the police to collect facts about their whereabouts. The trio at once runs away from the holy place and gives the cameraman false data to distract the police. Following that, the group is reviewing the pictures from their time at the mosque when Money recognizes her mom in one of the clips. They see her getting into a particular bus and go to the bus driver the very next day. On inquiring, he names all the villages that come to his daily route. One of them is Sultanpur, which Money confirms is her home. Nawab and Pawan hug, having ultimately discovered their destination. Nawab additionally uploads the video documentary on YouTube and the police get a trace of their area through it. On their way to Sultanpur, the bus is stopped to be checked. With no way out, Pawan comes to the police's view and pretends to run away. While the guys are busy attempting to capture him, Nawab takes Money and brings her back to her village. In the following scene, we see Money run to her mother, who couldn't be happier to see her. As she reunites with her family, anybody else, Pawan gets beaten up through the police. The documentary on YouTube goes viral and larger news channels begin covering the story. Eventually, people discover out that Pawan is not a secret agent and is being held in jail for assisting a little girl. Both Indian and Pakistani people provide him all their support. But the Pakistani officers refuse to let him go. They torture him in prison, beating him up for hours, drowning him till his final breath, and starving him. Nawab then claps back with some other video, this time on a larger platform, asking people to collect at the border and make certain that Pawan reaches domestic safely. The sketch works, and countless people from each sides come to the border in crowds. Rasika and her family are also among the crowd, waiting for him to come home. Eventually, the officers have to back down. The crowd erupts chanting Pawan's name as he crosses the border. Then, we see Money among the crowd, waving her palms but unable to call him. All of a sudden, she shouts Mama, the title Pawan desired her to call him when they first met. The crowd goes silent as she yells goodbye. Pawan turns around in shock. The movie ends here. Thank you for watching. If you liked the video then please subscribe, comment and leave a like because it helped the channel a lot. See you in another explanation video.